All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to today's video. In today's video, we're going to be printing with PA6 glass fiber from Bambu Lab. Now, we've printed with their carbon fiber before, but I've never printed with any of their glass fiber filaments. So I got a really cool color of the blue one, and I just got done drying it for 12 hours at 80C. So now I'd like to start printing some stuff with it, so we can see what that type of filament is like. So we'll take a look at the website and see what they tout as it being, what it makes it different from carbon fiber and the rest of the filaments. And then we'll print one of the benchies that we normally do without changing any of the settings to see how it prints just right out of the box. And then we'll look at a functional print that would be a good thing to use PA6 glass fiber for. So, if all that sounds good, then sit back and relax and I'll get everything ready. All right, so here we are on Bambu Lab's website, and here is the PA6 glass fiber reinforced, built to last, dimensional stability, exceptional thermal properties, and probably the big differentiator here is the chemical resistance. Smooth surface and more colors. They do have a bunch of really cool colors. We have this blue one that we'll be using today. Cautions for use: 0.2 millimeter nozzle not compatible, stainless steel nozzle not recommended, AMS and AMS light compatible, but we'll take a look at how true that is here in a minute. And dry before use, and we went ahead and dried this filament for 12 hours at 80C to make sure that it was dry. So let's take a look at what they're touting as this being. So we'll see a lot of functional parts here, bolts, screws. This looks like some sort of, four-way connector for water or something like that. You see, stronger parts, dimensional stability, looking at doing, very precise tools, gears and stuff like that. So that might be something to print. And what's cool is they have these prints that are on here and the people that made them, so you can go and print these things. And then here's like an automotive part as well. So we'll see where it stacks up with the thermal properties, right? And it's not the best in the world like PETCF, but it is right there in the middle, better than PC, and right around in the same range as the PA6 carbon fiber that we've reviewed in the past. The funnel is probably one of the prints that you should make if you do get a roll of this, because of the chemical resistance. And I mentioned that in the beginning. Out in your shop, if you need to add fluid to your car or something like that, there'd be different chemicals and everything like that. So it'd be important to have something that could withstand some chemicals. So, it offers excellent resistance to chemicals, oils, and many kinds of solvents, right? So if you're doing any of that type of stuff out in your garage, or you're doing anything where you're messing with chemicals, it'd be good to print a funnel with that, and we'll do that today. So what's really cool is they have lots of different colors and everything, right? So if there was a chemical spill or something, you can make a sign out of this stuff. It's really cool that they started to add the hex code to all of their colors and everything. That's really, really cool. And again, here's how it stacks up with PA6 carbon fiber and PAHT carbon fiber, both of which we reviewed on here. AMS compatibility, it does say yes on here. This used to say yes as well, but it doesn't anymore. Dry out before use. One of the other benefits of this is it is showing a higher print speed than the rest of these. So, it may print a little bit faster. It does require an enclosed printer. So that's where the AMS Lite, I'm not sure which enclosed printer that you're going to do with that, unless you print out and make one of the enclosures for the A1 or the A1 Mini, which I don't have. So we won't be trying this out on the A1 Mini this time. And here's the rest of the technical jargon. We won't go through all of that. We will look at some of the different things. It does say 0.6 millimeter recommended. We're going to run with the 0.4 and see how it does from there. Here's the drying settings and everything, density, all of the rest of the things here. The other thing that I would recommend that you always take a look at is the filament guide in the wiki. And this will kind of help you stay straight, with compatible with the AMS, 0.6 nozzle, 0.4, 0.2, enclosed printer, open frame printer. So if we look at open frame printer in the very beginning here, PA6 glass fiber, not recommended. No on the 0.2, yes on the 0.4, highly recommended on the 6. And then yes for the AMS and AMS Lite for the PA carbon fiber and PA-HT carbon fiber, it looks like on there. So I'm not sure, unless you print out a enclosure for your A1 or your A1 mini, I wouldn't recommend having this. And the other thing is you need an external dryer if you're going to use the A1 and A1 mini, because you don't have something that can dry it. I used my printer this time, but I also have a Fixdry, a filament dryer, and a dryer from eSun as well. So I do recommend always have this handy, maybe even have it printed out and next to your printer, but always refer to this when you're trying out new filaments for the first time and make sure that you're not missing one of these things here. So let's go ahead and get it out of the printer and load it into the AMS. And then we'll go ahead and make our first print. All right, so here we are in the printer after it is dried. You'll see that I do have a spool cover for it that is needed for this. Otherwise, if you haven't printed one of these out, you can just use the bottom of the box. So just cut the lid off and you can put the bottom of the box over to cover the spool. This glass fiber filament might be a really good filament to print one of these covers out of as well. So if you do have a roll of this and are looking for something, one of these covers would be a good thing to print out of it, since it does have high thermal resistance. So let's go ahead and get it out of here and get it loaded into the AMS. All right, so here we are in Bambu Studio, and you'll see that when I did the resync on my filaments, it just put some generic filament in there and gave me a warning. And I spent a little while looking into this, and it looks like Bambu selling a filament that's supposed to, be with their whole ecosystem that is not doing their whole ecosystem. So the filament profile actually isn't loaded in there for the normal Bambu Studio as of recording this video. So the way I'm able to get that in there is by running the beta version of Bambu Studio here. And you'll see I haven't even turned on advanced mode here. And once you have done the beta version, and that's of recording this video, so I would imagine the next update on Bambu Studio will probably have these profiles in there. But you need to go in here and you'll see that there's a new filament that's been added in here. That's the PA6 glass fiber. So we'll go ahead and hit that and hit confirm. And now when I resync my filaments, we'll see that the PA6 glass fiber is in there. What's really weird is the AMS recognized it, the machine recognized it and put it on the front, and even in here it has shown the glass fiber in here. It's just not been able to show up under this print profile. So now that that's in there, this is the profile that's loaded in there. So if you don't want to do the beta version, you can take a screenshot of this here and load in the settings that are coming from the beta version. So there's all of the nozzle temperatures, the max volumetric speed, the flow ratio, the density, and all of that. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get our Benchy loaded in here and we'll get a print going. All right, so we have the Benchy loaded in here and we have it selected with the PA6 glass fiber. I am going to use the textured plate for this since it is a higher temperature print. I don't want to ruin one of my prismatic plates, so we'll do this on the textured plate because I know it'll work on there. So we'll go ahead and see how long it's going to take to print. And it looks like 1 hour and 17 minutes to print on there. So we'll go ahead and print this, and I'll see you when it gets done. All right, so while the Benchy is printing, I'll show you where you go to do the public beta for Bambu Studio. So I'll leave a link to this. This is the releases, and this is the beta releases. So you just go here and you scroll down to the bottom, and you'll see all of the assets here. And you'll see Linux, Fedora, Ubuntu, Mac, Windows, and Windows Public, version 1.58 or 1.09, whatever. The ending is 1.58. This is the one that I downloaded and used, and that allowed me to see the PA6 glass fiber. And that was as of, late April 2024 when this video is recorded. All right, so as you saw, I tried that 3 different times and I had the same result each time that failed, and it didn't stick to the PEI plate. So one of the other plates that it recommends is the smooth PEI plate, or the high temperature plate. So let's switch over to that and go ahead and hit slice plate. And remember to get rid of these printing tip things. You can just hit collapse there. Same hour and 17 minutes. So we'll go ahead and see if we can get it printed on here. I cleaned the high temp plate, or the smooth PEI plate, and I put a fresh coat of glue on there. No liquid glue as per the Filament wiki, only use the waxy glue. So we'll go ahead and get this printed, and I'll see you when it gets done. All right, so let's take a look at it after it printed finally. I was not able to get it to print on the PEI texture plate, but I did get it to print on here. The first thing that I notice is not all of the top is smooth. Some of it is, but there are some pieces that aren't smooth. The other thing that I noticed is there is some layering and some imperfections on these overhangs here, and it is not the smoothest filament that I've ever used. Now I'm sure we could tune a little bit out of this. I'll leave a link to an article of some people that were tuning because there wasn't a profile loaded in Bambu, where they're using some higher temperatures on here to compensate for some of these flaws there. So the first thing I would do is probably a temperature calibration on this, if this is something that you want to use a lot of. So I would do that. That might get rid of some of this and help with some of the adhesion, and maybe help smooth some of it out. But otherwise, it looks really, really strong. Looks like it's really good filament for, the niche purposes that you might want to use this in. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get this plate ready again. And let's go find us a really nice funnel in Maker World, and we'll print out a funnel so we can have out in our garage if we need to pour any chemicals and don't want to put it on the floor. So let me get everything set up, and I'll see you in Bambu Studio. All right, here we are on Maker World, and I found these really cool fast funnels with an air outlet or whatever. So these are supposed to make things go down a little bit faster and everything like that. Not sure if that's the case, not really the point of this video, but these look like some cool funnels that I can download here. So we'll see, there's all kinds of small, medium. There's even profiles for A1 mini and the X1 extra small funnels and everything. I'll leave a link to this one. This looks like a good place to get the different size funnels that you need. I want to print a large one here, so we'll select on that one, and then we'll select open in Bambu Studio. So I'll see you in Bambu Studio. All right, here we are with it loaded in Bambu Studio and with the PA6 glass fiber filament selected. We will notice that for this profile, they changed the wall loops to 3 instead of 2. And the easy way to see where changes have been made is you'll see that it's highlighted orange here. So when you download these things, if there's other things that have changed, just go and take a look at the things that these different makers are changing, to help with their prints and everything like that. So we'll leave this one the same as it is, as the maker put it in here. We won't change anything else. I've left all of this stuff the same, haven't changed any of that or any of these things within the 0.2 millimeter standard Bambu Lab X1C printing profile. So let's go ahead and slice it and see how long it's going to take to print. And around 2.5 hours, which is not bad at all. So let's go ahead and get it printing, and I'll see you when it gets done. All right, so let's take a look at the funnel once it's all printed out. And I will say the quality of this is really, really good. For the size of project this is very, very sturdy. There's no wiggle in this at all. And this is going directly into my garage because it looks that good. Yeah, so I would recommend printing these even if you only have ABS or something like that. These funnels look pretty good, but this does look like a really good filament to do that. Looks like we have a little seam on each side there, but that's okay. Otherwise, it turned out really, really good. So a couple of other things that you might use this type of filament for would be like mechanical arms or pieces like that, maybe for a robot or something. CNC machine parts, linear rail guides, and different things like that. We saw automotive components in the one example on the website, but dashboard trim might be another thing that you might want to use this for. Things that go outdoors, tool holders and organizers, structural components. And then again, as we learned with the eSun glass filament fiber, these are really good for resisting chemicals and everything like that. So if you have a use case where you're going to have chemicals or high impact or need high heat resistance or things like that, this is going to be the filament that you use for that. Now for an overall review of it, most of the Bambu filament has been plug and play for the most part, right? So you can calibrate all the filaments and do all of that, but it's not absolutely necessary. You can get functional prints without doing anything with some minor defects or whatever. Same with this, right? We haven't calibrated it or anything, but we have some minor defects where the seam is on it. But for the most part, the filaments that I've got from Bambu Lab have been plug and play, right? And that's kind of the benefit of the RFID and all of that. So I was a little bit surprised that the AMS recognized it and was able to send the RFID signal to the printer, and the printer recognized that it was glass fiber. And it showed that in the device on Bambu Studio, but on the filament profile that wasn't in there. So that was a little bit weird. especially since this has been out for a couple of weeks. So I did have to download the beta version of it, which is the first time I've ever had to do that for one of their filaments. So that was a little bit interesting. So it's worth calling out, at least at the time of recording this video. You know, you had to go through a couple of extra steps just to get the print profile. And that was the only kind of negative that I have on it. Otherwise, it printed really well right out of the box. It would require, I think, a little bit of tuning, and I think a little bit of the heat. You probably need to run it a little bit hotter. And the other interesting thing is that it says it's compatible with the A1 or the AMS Lite. And yeah, this prints at pretty high temperatures. So, and you saw the little eyeball melt off or whatever, and it's still hanging on by a thread. But that's one thing to note, that it needs pretty high heat to print with that. Enough so that it was melting the little eye off of it. So if you have an A1 or an A1 mini with an enclosure, I just don't know if you'd get the chamber temperature high enough to print with this. It'd be interesting to see. If anybody out there has tried it, leave a comment below. Let us know about your experience. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video with one of these engineering filaments and materials. These are really cool to print with, and cool to have lying around when you need them. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Smash that like button if you did. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss next week's video. And join us on Saturday evenings as we have a live stream and look at all of the things that people are printing out there. So hope everybody has a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.